Have you ever wondered how basketball evolved into the sport we know today? Let's go way back to the year 1891. Picture this. It's winter in Springfield, Massachusetts. The chill in the air is biting and outdoor activities are off the table. Dr. James Naismith, a physical education teacher at the International YMCA training school, was facing a common problem. His students were getting restless and needed a way to burn off energy indoors. In a stroke of genius, Dr. Naismith decided to invent a brand new game. He wanted something that would keep his students active, but also challenge their minds. So he took elements from other sports he knew, like American football, soccer, and field hockey, and blended them all together. The result was a game with just 13 basic rules. It was a simple game designed to be played indoors. The goals? 2 peach baskets hung at each end of the gymnasium. That's right, folks, the first basketball goals were literal baskets. And the ball? It wasn't the orange bouncy sphere we're familiar with today. No, it was a soccer ball. And to get the ball out of the basket after a score, someone had to climb a ladder. Sounds like a lot of work for a few points, doesn't it? But despite its humble beginnings, the game caught on. Naismith students loved it. Before long, it was being played in YMCA gyms across the country. Then schools and colleges picked it up. The game was fast-paced, exciting, and it required both physical prowess and strategic thinking. It was perfect. The original 13 rules of basketball, scribbled down by Naismith himself, are now enshrined in the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. They are a testament to the sport's roots, a reminder of how far it's come, and a nod to the man who started it all. And so, the simple game invented to combat winter boredom started its journey towards becoming a global phenomenon. But how did we move from peach baskets to the modern-day hoops and backboards? That's a fascinating tale that shows us how the game of basketball has evolved over the years. Let's start with the peach baskets. Yes, the earliest games of basketball were played using peach baskets as goals. Players would aim to toss the ball into these baskets, and after every successful shot, someone would have to retrieve the ball by climbing a ladder. It was a simple yet effective setup, but it had its limitations. The games were slow, and the constant interruptions broke the flow of the game. The solution? The introduction of metal hoops and backboards. This transition made the game faster and more dynamic. The metal hoop was paired with a backboard, which bounced missed shots back into play, keeping the game in motion. The backboard also added a new tactical dimension to the game, as players could now use it to ricochet shots into the hoop. But even with the metal hoops, there was still a problem. The bottom of the hoops was closed, meaning that after each successful shot, the game had to be paused to retrieve the ball. Enter the open-bottomed net. This was a game changer. After a shot was made, the ball would simply fall through the net, and the game could continue without interruption. And what about the ball itself? The first basketballs were, believe it or not, soccer balls. That's right. The early players of basketball were shooting and dribbling with a ball designed for a completely different sport. However, as the game evolved, so did the equipment. A dedicated basketball was introduced, specifically designed for the sport. It was larger and heavier than a soccer ball, making it easier to handle and shoot. With these changes, from peach baskets to hoops and backboards, from closed hoops to open nets, and from soccer balls to dedicated basketballs, basketball started to look more like the game we recognize today. The game became faster, smoother, and more dynamic, laying the foundation for the high-octane, globally loved sport that we know as basketball. So when did the NBA come into the picture, and how have the rules evolved over the years? Well, the National Basketball Association, or NBA as we know it, was formed in 1946. Originally known as the Basketball Association of America, it merged with its rival, the National Basketball League, in 1949 to form the NBA. But it wasn't just a simple merging of organizations. It was a significant step that solidified basketball's place in professional sports. Now let's talk about some key rules changes. One of the most impactful was the introduction of the 24-second shot clock in 1954. Before this, teams could hold on to the ball for as long as they wanted, which often led to low-scoring, drawn-out games. The shot clock sped up the pace of the game, increased scoring, and made the sport more spectator-friendly. Another pivotal change came in the late 70s with the introduction of the three-point line. This rule was borrowed from the American Basketball Association, which had merged with the NBA. The three-point line revolutionized the game, adding a new layer of strategy and skill. Now, teams could score an extra point from beyond a certain distance, making comebacks more possible and games more thrilling. In the early 80s, the NBA also introduced the restricted area, a semicircular zone near the basket where certain types of defensive fouls are restricted. This rule was designed to limit dangerous collisions near the basket and to encourage more skillful play. And let's not forget about the introduction of video replay in the early 2000s. This gave referees the ability to review certain plays, ensuring the accuracy of crucial calls and adding another layer of integrity to the sport. These rules changes not only shaped the sport, but also amplified its excitement and appeal. They transformed basketball from a simple game into a dynamic, strategic, and thrilling sport that we all love to watch. So, the next time you're watching an NBA game, remember the journey this sport has taken and appreciate the evolution that's made it what it is today. Basketball wouldn't be what it is today without its legendary players. Who were they? Let's delve into the lives and careers of some of the most iconic figures the game has ever seen. Men who have not just played the game, but have shaped it, defined it, and left an indelible mark on its history. Take Michael Jordan, for instance. With his 6 NBA championships, 5 MVP awards, and 10 scoring titles, Jordan was a force of nature on the basketball court. But his impact goes beyond his impressive stats. Jordan's competitive spirit, his relentless pursuit of excellence, and his ability to perform under pressure transformed the game. He set a new standard, not just for basketball players, but for all athletes. Then there's Magic Johnson, a player who redefined the point guard position. At 6 feet, 9 inches tall, Johnson was a towering presence on the court. But it was his vision, his basketball IQ, and his exceptional passing ability that made him stand out. Johnson's Showtime Lakers were all about fast-paced, entertaining basketball, and he was the orchestrator of it all. His style of play influenced a generation of point guards, and his successful transition to business after his playing career has been an inspiration to many. And who could forget Larry Bird, the sharpshooting forward who was part of the storied Boston Celtics? Bird was known for his shooting accuracy, his basketball savvy, and his fierce competitiveness. His rivalry with Magic Johnson, which started in college and continued in the NBA, is one of the greatest in sports history. Bird's work ethic and determination set a high bar for players who followed in his footsteps. These legends have not just accumulated accolades and set records, they have changed the way basketball is played and perceived. Their influence can be felt in the players who emulate them, the fans who admire them, and the game that continues to evolve because of them. These legends have left a lasting mark on the sport, inspiring future generations to reach for the stars. Basketball today is more than just a game, isn't it? It's a cultural force that transcends borders and barriers. It's a common language spoken in sneakers and hoop dreams, resonating on hardwood courts from Beijing to Brooklyn. The influence of basketball can be felt far beyond the court. It's woven into the fabric of contemporary culture, impacting everything from fashion to music. Players aren't just athletes, they're style icons, setting trends with their unique sense of fashion. They're also musicians, with many players stepping off the court and into the recording studio. But the influence of basketball doesn't stop at fashion and music. The sport has also become a platform for addressing social issues. Players use their visibility to shine a light on important causes, advocating for change both on and off the court. The sport has given a voice to those who may otherwise be unheard, and it continues to drive important conversations about equality and justice. Basketball's global expansion is another testament to its influence. The sport is no longer confined to its American origins, but is embraced by nations worldwide. The rise of international players in the NBA, from Dirk Nowitzki's trailblazing career to Giannis Antetokounmpo's MVP ascendance, showcases the sport's universal appeal. And let's not forget the impact of the Women's National Basketball Association. The WNBA has not only given women a platform to showcase their incredible athletic abilities, but it has also inspired countless young girls to pursue their dreams, both in sports and beyond. It's a testament to the power of representation and the enduring appeal of the game. From a simple game to a global phenomenon, basketball continues to evolve, capturing the hearts of millions around the world. It's more than just a sport. It's a culture, a community, and a vehicle for change. And who knows what the future holds? One thing is certain though, the game of basketball will continue to inspire, influence, and captivate us all.